Ms. Grace Fu, Minister for Culture, Community and Youth, Dr. An Hock Sing, Commissioner of Charities, Mr. David Gerard, President of Securities Investors Association, Singapore, distinguished speakers and panelists, fellow members of the Charities Council, ladies and gentlemen. A very good morning to each and every one of you, and welcome to this conference. Thank you for taking time to attend the annual Charity Governance Conference. Your attendance is a testament to the sector's commitment to this year's theme of the conference, Governance for Excellence. I would like to first take this opportunity to thank Securities Investors Association of Singapore for once again being the organizer for the conference. And so thank you, David, for giving us this platform to promote governance in the charity sector. This year, we are privileged to have with us Minister for Culture, Community and Youth, Ms. Grace Fu. Her presence gives weight to the importance of this conference, and certainly is an encouragement for all of us in the third sector, because it's an acknowledgement that what we do is important for community building and for the nation. The key announcements that Minister has just shared shows that there are plenty of resources and guidance developed to enable the sector. I would also like to thank our distinguished speakers and panelists who have joined us today to share their experience and insights. This conference is ultimately a joint effort between charities, the public and private sector to help to achieve governance for excellence. I would like to encourage everyone to adopt a forward-looking stance on governance for the charity sector. We can only progress together if we have a common vision and end goal that everyone is aligned with and can work towards. That is excellence in governance. Good is not good enough, and that's something we should all strive to reach together. I mentioned this many times before. It just takes one wrongdoing from a charity to erode the public confidence, the public trust in the entire charity sector. While the whole sector is affected, I would like to urge everyone to view themselves as not part of the problem, but potential solutions. We should not take on a bystander role and watch a drama unfold, or shy away from helping one another. And one way to help each other is to consider rotating among the charity sector so that you can share your experiences and expertise with other charities whilst allowing injection of new ideas from new board members. You know, years ago when I got involved with the NKF, up to that time, my experience was purely as an accountant, as an auditor, dealing with IPOs, audits. So there were many issues I'm not familiar with and never tackled. And it's through this idea of sharing and blessings on being able to pull in volunteers with different experiences, people who had experience in HR, in finance, in investments, legal, that we managed to put things back in order. And this is something I urge you all to do. And those of you who are volunteers, share your expertise among the different VWOs and rotate. Because each time when you go to another VWO, your accumulative experience makes you even more effective for the very next SSO that you volunteer for. By remaining committed to our shared goal despite setbacks in the sector, I believe that excellence is within our grasp. How can we reach excellence? One key way is through the refined code of governance that has been implemented since the start of 2018. I hope that all of you have familiarized yourself with it and have implemented the new principles. As I said before, the code is not just for charities, but for the public to evaluate charities in terms of good governance and which charity is more deserving of support. The public indeed is becoming more discerning and hold charities to higher standards. By achieving the best practice as laid out in the code, all of you can not only meet but exceed expectations. We have annual charity transparency and charity governance awards that acknowledge these charities that achieve excellence. There are many charities today compared back to the 1950s and 1960s. And those days, charities existed to provide shelter, food. It was very basic. But today, there are so many charities competing for attention, competing for that donation pie, and not all charities are equal. And what sets you apart from the rest is your application of the Code of Governance to run your organization at the best possible principles to make sure that the people you're serving gets the best out of you. The Charity Council is here to support you in achieving excellence with advice, enablers, and guidance. Today's conference is one such enabler, and this is also covered under the VWO Charities Capability Fund, or otherwise known as the VCF, under the VCF training grant. We have with us an exciting lineup of relevant and popular topics like fundraising and board and human resources. The topics were selected based on post-Charity Council events, the surveys that we do after each event, and these two topics were voted as future topics that charities would like us to cover. Hence, it is important to us that all of you sign up for these events and provide your invaluable feedback after each and every event. This can help us to do better, serve you better, and to better understand the sector's needs. The two key topics this morning is applicable to charities of all sizes and addresses the lifeblood to sustain charities. The first is fundraising, which is necessary to sustain charities' internal operations, as well as to impact the lives of the beneficiaries. With the move to online fundraising, many charities are not familiar with what are the good practices and risks involved. As for the second topic, talent attraction, management, and retention are paramount to the charity's daily operations. For a charity to achieve governance for excellence, it starts from the top. Thus, healthy board dynamics and a board with the right mix of core skill sets and competencies are essential. I will not hold you back from today's exciting lineup of the program, but there's something that I just thought about as I listened to a minister's speech just now, the preamble in particular, with the rapid changes in the environment and a lot of talk. Most of us are also involved in businesses, and we're talking about the digital economy and disruptions and so forth. I think you should not fear it. You should befriend it and see how you can use these as tools in your operations to make you even more efficient. And one of my favorite ideas of the use of making use of the digital economy is the internet. Nothing fancy. Forget about your Bitcoin and all this. It's just internet and reaching the global marketplace. You know, I have favorite T-shirts that I order from a couple in some village in Hawaii, and these two live in a hut, and they have hand-printed silk screen T-shirts. And they market their T-shirts all over the world. And I wonder why our charities that have social enterprises do not do the same thing. There are things that we may not appreciate, but the rest of the world is looking for. I was thinking of SPD, that they have these handmade journals and photo albums. While it may not be popular in Singapore, in many other countries, beautiful hand-bounded journals are much needed. And through the internet, you can then market it to the countries where it is still popular. So think about it. It's not something to be afraid of. It's something that you should try and understand and befriend and make use of, especially for your operations. So I hope to see a robust discussion, not just within the different panels, but also an engaging exchange with the panel and the audience. So once again, on behalf of the Charities Council, I'd like to thank all of you for your strong commitment to governance for excellence. Thank you.